What is up, my Muffinators? If you've been up to date with my channel recently, you'll probably see that I've streamed Halo Reach in the past. Well, in that time, I've gone and beaten all the other Halo games made by Bungie, and they were all pretty good. If you were to ask me which one was my favorite, then I would give you one answer. And I'm just gonna assume you've read the title already and quit beating around the bush. Halo 3 ODST is my favorite Halo game, and this video is basically my attempt to get you to believe this as well. So, first of all, as opposed to playing as a Spartan or an Elite in Halo 3 ODST, you play as an ODST, or an Orbital Drop Shock Trooper, a name which Cruelty Squad would then steal in the year 2021. Now, ODSTs drop down from these metal fucking pods, which must be absolutely terrifying if you're a part of the Covenant. But despite that obscenely hard intro, they're basically cannon fodder while you go and complete the main objective. Now, in Halo 3 ODST, you're part of Alpha 9, which is essentially the noble team at home. Alpha 9 consists of Buck, Dare, Dutch, Romeo, Steamboat Willie, and the character you'll play as for a good chunk of the game, the Rookie. The Rookie is dropped into New Mombasa right as it gets obliterated by a Covenant spaceship going into hyperspace, which, let me just say, would be absolutely fucking insane if this was a VR game. I'm just saying, imagine how I would probably wet myself if this game was a VR game. Anyways, the Rookie exits his pod and enters what's left of New Mombasa. This begins the game's main way of progressing the story. You, the Rookie, must find various clues which are scattered throughout the ruins of New Mombasa. Once you find these clues, you are sent to levels where you get to play as your fellow Alpha 9 ODSTs and see what they've been up to. Let me just say, this is such a breath of fresh air and just so cool. Like, as opposed to having a cohesive storyline, Bungie just lets you play detective and find out what happened. It's just so cool, and it's awesome. I could just give the game a 10 out of 10 here and quit the video, but I haven't. But unfortunately, I have like 3 more pages left. So yeah. Anyways, you're probably thinking now, Brian, this game seems so easy and boring. What makes it a masterpiece in your eyes? Well, along the way, you're greeted by the classic Halo 3 enemies, which again, seems simple. But here's the twist. Spartans and ODSTs have a bit of a different health system. Unlike Spartans, who have shields and health, ODSTs have stamina and health, which might seem the same on the surface, but I believe they're different. Or maybe they're not, and I just suck at this game. Anyway, when you get hit in Halo 3 as an ODST, if you get hit, you lose stamina, and your screen turns red and tweaks the fuck out. And trust me here, guys, you do not want to run out of stamina, because once you do, a stray cough will be enough to fucking obliterate you. Combine this with Halo's classic firefights, and you've got a decently challenging game. Or maybe I just fucking suck. I don't know. Think of that what you will. ODSTs also have access to a map, location markers, and a objective system. Now, unfortunately, I never really used the map, and if you just press escape while playing this game through the Master Chief Collection, which is what I did, it shows you your objectives. So that whole part was basically useless. But the location markers, oh my god, the location markers. Why has no one put this in another Halo game? Some people probably dislike the location markers because it ruins the immersion. But for a pea-brain like me, this really helps, so that I don't have to explore the map for 1 hour only to find something that's hidden in plain sight. ODSTs also have access to night vision, which, side tangent here, why is night vision in, like, every video game? Like, why do FPS developers just love putting this in their games? Like, Entropy 0, 1, and 2 did it, Opposing Force did it, I'm sure plenty of other games have done it. Like, it's just nuts. Game developers, feel free to, like, comment on this video and explain to me the extremely, complicated steps and why a night vision is superior to flashlights in every way. But But the night vision in this game is pretty good because some areas are pretty dark. Hell, Bungie decided to give the night vision mode allow the night vision mode to outline friends in green, enemies in red, and objectives and other things in yellow. Just a word of advice: don't use this in light areas. You might be tempted to because of all its benefits, but if you use this in an area with any amount of light, you'll basically be fucking flashbanged. Another great thing about this game is its ambience, specifically in the New Mombasa sections. Something about wandering the destroyed city while it's all quiet instead of there being some music or anything is just really cool to me. And this whole system of running around New Mombasa while nothing's going on with the ODST cemented this game for me and made me realize this game was amazing. Hell, once you're done with the clue levels, you even get sad piano riffs that play for a bit. Anyways, after the rookie finds all the clues, he enters a facility known as the data mine. In the data mine, we find some random guy. I believe this guy is referenced in some of the game's hidden audio logs. And yes, this game has hidden audio logs. That 11 out of 10, best game ever. Should have been game of the year. That's the end of the video. This isn't actually the end of the video. We still have like a few more pages in the script. Okay. Now, I only found 2 of these audio logs, which reference this guy, a girl, and someone named Vergil. Hell, this guy even starts talking about Vergil. Now, at this point of the game, I thought Vergil was some sort of artificial intelligence. He's not an artificial intelligence. So, the rookie and this guy head deeper into the data mine, only for this guy to die and leave you alone to head deeper into the data mine. Eventually, you find Veronica, one of your fellow ODSTs, who has been looking for someone named the Superintendent. You two continue through the data mine as you are bombarded by buggers and elites. This leads to another thing I love about this game, the continuity. The areas where you find clues can actually be seen in the clue levels, with the only difference being that they're not completely fucking destroyed. In fact, some events that happen in the clue levels are referenced in the game story. For instance, Veronica tells you the buggers are in the data mine because someone blew up their main hive. In one of the clue levels, you destroy a building, which is the buggers' main hive. Anyways, once you find the superintendent, it's revealed that the superintendent isn't actually an engineer, is actually an engineer. Engineers are these squid snake guys who are enemies in Halo 3 and this game as well. They basically give enemies infinite shield and also explode upon death. So yeah, they're basically fucking annoying. Also, the superintendent is actually Vergil himself. That's right, Vergil here apparently took the data of a supercomputer, combined that with this data of the Covenant, and also the fact that the engineers were enslaved by the Covenant and don't actually like them, and you've got a essential game changer for the UNSC, which, if you don't know what the UNSC is, they're basically the main force fighting back against the Covenant. They're basically the space military. Anyways, now that you found the superintendent, you must escort him, or the superintendent, who I will now be referring to as Vergil for the rest of the game, out of the data mine, and eventually out of New Mombasa itself. Now, at this point, I assume the rest of my fellow ODSTs were dead, and this whole game was about me trying to find out what happened to them. Then, suddenly, Buck shows up and helps you guys escape the data mine. Now is also a good time to mention that Buck and Dare were in, like, some sort of romantic relationship. Like, in the intro, Buck is, like, asking, I think he's, like, trying to rizz up Veronica, who is, Dare is Veronica, and Veronica is Dare. Yeah. Basically, they're in some sort of romantic relationship. Hell, after you escape the data mine, they start, like, making out, only to, like, argue 5 seconds later. Like, I don't get it, man. I just find this gross. I just want to play Halo games. Why would Bungie add this? This is so cringe. Anyways, after this leads up to the game's final level, where you and Buck ride in a warthog, while Vergil and Dare ride in a fucking truck. And let me just say, Vergil is the best character in this game. It's just so fucking metal when he enters when his fucking hand comes out of a fucking truck and he does the, truck thing. where it's like hands go up and down. And, you know, the signal you make when you want a truck to honk. That's just epic. The highway section is also pretty cool because you also get access to the Gauze Hog and Tank. These are basically the only times these vehicles are used in Halo 3 ODST, which is pretty cool. Anyways, after this, you're thrown into a plaza where you must protect Vergil from an onslaught of Covenant enemies before the rest of your fellow ODSTs arrive to pick you up. This, for me, is the worst part of the fucking game. Like, seriously. Bungie, how did you sell near the end of the game? How did you sell? The first round of this is actually pretty cool. You're dealing with grunts and brutes, you know, pretty easy stuff. The second round, however, is utter hell. It hits you with a shit ton of jackals, hunters, and for those Halo 2 veterans, I know you love them, jackal snipers. And considering the health system for ODSTs, you'll get mowed the fuck down if you try to go in guns blazing. After this unbalanced mess, however, you get to fight a good chunk of brutes, which is actually, and I hate to say this, a nice brute cooldown compared to jackal hell. After this, the rest of the Alpha 9 come to pick you up in a fucking Phantom, which they steal in a previous clue level, and this ends the game. Everyone makes it out of New Mombasa, and the day is saved. But of course, like any Halo game, there's a classic Bungie epilogue. Not a lot happens in the Halo 3 ODST epilogue, except Vergil lights Sergeant Johnson's cigar, cementing him as Halo's most metal character. So, yeah. That's my summary of Halo 3 ODST. Overall, I think the game is good for a lot of reasons. Whether that be its crazy ambience, different story progression, and all the unique things the game did. For me, Halo 3 ODST cements itself, in my eyes, as the best game in the Halo series. And I've just been talking about the game's single player this whole time. It actually has a multiplayer. And yes, I will glaze Floodfight until the day I die. Not to mention, this game apparently takes place between Halo 2 or during Halo 3, depending on who you ask. Listen, Wikipedia said it takes place during Halo 2, but my friend says it takes place during and after Halo 3, so I don't really know what to believe. And I'm also a sucker for games that happen alongside the main story, so yeah. In conclusion, and in fact, before I wrap this up with the conclusion, I just have to say, if this game, the thing I would compare this game to is Sonic CD. Yes, Sonic CD, that Sonic game. I know, I'm comparing a Halo game to a fucking Sonic game, but hear me out. Both games are similar to their contemporaries, but do things incredibly differently and are pretty different. So, yeah. I hope this game has, in conclusion, I hope this game has convinced you that Halo 3 ODST is the best. Or maybe not. Maybe a different Halo game is your favorite, and I can't really push you. I didn't really convince you. But that doesn't really matter, so yeah. P.S. Helldivers 2 should have been the second ODST game, you sick fucks!